Most people with a YouTube channel want to make money. They think they're stuck because of their niche, but they're not. They're stuck because they have no idea what they're selling. And until you can figure it out, it doesn't matter how many videos you make, how consistent you are, how good your thumbnails look, nothing is going to convert into real money. And the worst part about that is that most people never figure that out. Instead, they do something that feels like a good idea, that you think it's logical, but actually it sets you back further than you realize. They pivot. Hey, I'm Dee Dee, and I help people like you make money on YouTube, not just to have a channel. And after working with and studying hundreds of channels, I'm going to talk about the pattern that I see more than anything else with creators who are trying to make this work and make some real money. You're working hard, you're showing up, you're making content, but something just isn't working out and you can't figure out why. So you start looking around at what everybody else is doing, and then you make a decision that feels brave, but it's actually the most expensive mistake you can make on YouTube. You start over. And there's a name for this pattern, and once you see it, you're going to recognize it immediately. It's called the merry-go-round of distraction, and it works like this. You start a channel, you're all excited, you make content, but money isn't coming and you don't know why. So you look around and you see somebody in a completely different niche who looks like they're absolutely killing it. And your brain says, well, maybe that's what I should be doing. Let's go do that. And you jump ship. You leave everything you just built and then you start into something new. And for a little while, the excitement is back, and then the same thing happens again. The money still isn't coming. So you start looking again and you see somebody else and you jump again. That's the merry-go-round. And it never actually takes you anywhere because you're solving the wrong problem every single time. And I want to share something that's been happening in my own community that really illustrates this, and it'll give you a little perspective. In the last 3 weeks, I have talked to 4 different people that have a channel, and they're thinking about changing niches. And the reason I wanted to share this is because it's not rare. I think this is happening to people every single day. And the heartbreaking part is that most of them were closer to a breakthrough than they ever knew. And it's okay to change niches. That's not what this is about. If you're changing because you know that the one you're in is not going to happen financially, you need to change it. But we're going to talk about that too, because it happened to me. And that's what we talk about in my YouTube Launch and Grow program. So let me show you something that's going to reframe how you think about where you're at right now. Imagine a hockey stick. It's flat along the bottom, and then at some point it curves and shoots straight up. That curve is your YouTube business. And where you are on that stick right now is more important than almost any other decision you're going to make. And I'm going to show you where you're at. So at the beginning of the stick, you've got the newbies. They're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, eager and ready to learn, excited about everything. But they don't know what they don't know yet. And honestly, that energy is a gift. They have 0 subscribers, $0, and they're just getting started. And that was all of us at some point. And then you move along the bottom of that stick and you hit the worker bee zone. This is roughly 500 to 10,000 subscribers. Maybe you're making somewhere between a few $100s and maybe even a couple of $1,000s a month. You've put in the real work to get there. You figured some things out, but it still feels like a grind, and the results don't always feel like the proportional to the effort that you're putting in. And I want to be real with you right here. I'm in this zone right now. I'm sitting around 7,200 subscribers and I'm making a few $1,000s a month. So I'm not teaching this from the top of the mountain. I'm on this path with you. And I can tell you from right here inside the worker bee zone that this is exactly where this merry-go-round is the most dangerous, because this is where it starts to feel like maybe this whole thing isn't working, and that feeling is lying to you, because right after the bottom of that hockey stick, the curve bends, and on the other side of that bend is what I call the breakout zone. And I'm not talking about Mr. Beast territory. This is not millions of subscribers or a team of 20 people. This is $5,000 to $20,000 a month. It's real sustainable income from a YouTube business that you've built yourself, maybe even part-time, without a massive audience. And the people that get there, they're not smarter than you or more talented than you. They're not even luckier than you. They just didn't get off the merry-go-round at the wrong time. Most people quit or pivot right before that curve bends. So before I get into the 4 questions that'll make all of this clear for you that you need to ask yourself, I want to make sure you have something in your hands that go way deeper than what I could cover in this single video. It's called the money test, because I assume if you're watching this video, you want to make some money. And it's a free tool I put together specifically for creators who want to know whether their niche and their offer are actually worth building around before they waste another month going in the wrong direction. It's not a quiz. It's a real thinking tool with questions that are going to make you stop and actually examine what you're building and why. The link is in the description. So go grab it after this video, because what I'm about to share is going to make a whole lot more sense once you've seen it. So how do you know whether your niche is actually the problem or whether you're just stuck in the growth grind? You got to run it through these 4 questions. And you have to be brutally honest with yourself when you answer the questions. This is not the time to tell yourself what you want to hear. You got to be honest. So question number 1. Do you want to make money from this? Not just make videos, not just get views and feel good about the numbers. Do you want to grow a real business from it? Because if your answer is yes, that changes everything about how you approach your channel. You're not just a content creator anymore. You're a business owner who uses content to drive your income. And that single mindset shift changes every decision you make going forward. And if you're not sure, that's really important information too. Get clear on it before you invest another month of your life in something you haven't committed to. All right, question number 2. Have you already made money doing this in some other capacity? This is the one that people skip. They get excited about an idea, but they've never actually tested whether anybody will pay for it or not. And if you've already made money, even if it's just a little bit, that's evidence. And evidence matters infinitely more than excitement or assumptions. If you answer no at this point, that doesn't mean you should pivot. It means you haven't validated your idea yet. And there's a big difference between those 2 things. Question 3, do you have a repeatable process? This is where a lot of people get confused and don't even know that they're confused. They got one good result and they have no idea how they did it. A real business isn't built on luck or a one-time win. It's built on something you can do over and over again and eventually teach it to somebody else. If you can't explain how you got your result, you don't have a process yet. You've got a lucky break. Or you just need to make it into a repeatable process for your viewers. I mean, sit down and actually line out the process. Work through it. So question 4, will people pay for it? Not just watch it. Not just like it and leave a comment. I mean, actually pay you money. There's a real difference between an audience and a customer base. And if you're building a YouTube business, you need to know which one you're creating right now. Getting views feels good. Getting paid feels even better. And you need to know before you go any further whether what you're building has a paying customer at the end of it. And if you can't answer yes to most of these questions, the problem probably isn't your niche. The problem is you haven't validated what you're building. And no amount of pivoting is going to fix that. So let's talk about why the merry-go-round is so hard to resist. Because when you look at the top creator who seems to have it all figured out, you're not actually seeing what they've built. You're seeing the output. You're not seeing that video editor that they pay every single month. You're not seeing the thumbnail designers, the video strategist, the social media manager who repurposes all of their content across different platforms. You're not seeing the email list they spent years building, the relationships with other creators, or the failed experiences that never made it to their channel. Some even have teams that write their scripts and set up a filming team, and all these big creators have to do is just show up and read their lines. That would be amazing. You're comparing yourself to the wrong people. And then you're wondering why you can't replicate it alone at your kitchen table at 10 o'clock at night. And I've caught myself doing the same thing. Looking at what somebody else has built and thinking maybe I should be going in that direction. And then I gotta stop. Remind myself, I'm not seeing the full picture here. And what I've got going on is really good. So when you jump ship to chase what they've got going on, you don't jump automatically to their level. You jump back to ground zero. And then you grind your way back up, get frustrated again, see another shiny object, and jump again. That's the merry-go-round. And every time you ride it, you get further away from your breakout zone. So what does it actually look like to get off this merry-go-round for good? It starts with staying in your lane long enough to get the real data, not just 2 weeks, not even 2 months, but long enough to actually learn something meaningful about what's working and what's not. Most channels don't hit their stride until somewhere between video 20 and video 50. If you're pivoting before you get there, you're not giving yourself a fair enough shot. I gave myself 6 months to see if this was going to work, and it's working. So it means studying your own analytics instead of watching your competition. What are your viewers actually clicking on? What videos are they watching all the way through? What topics are getting comments? Because your analytics are telling you something right now, and most people ignore it because they're too busy looking sideways at the merry-go-round. So like for me, when I look at my analytics, I can see very clearly what my audience watches. They want to know about how to make money on YouTube, and they want to know about how to grow on YouTube. My comments say it, my community says it. That's two of the biggest things that I need to address all the time. So I will weave that content in constantly and move my audience through that value stack. I will teach them how to get better views, but I will also teach them how to make money because that's what they want to know how to do. And I've done both of those things. So I'm in a spot. I have a repeatable process that I can teach that. So it means actually getting honest about what you're selling. Because here's the thing, a channel without a clear offer is just a hobby with a camera. The creators who break out of that worker bee zone and they hit that breakout zone are the ones that have figured out not just what content to make, but what they're building towards. And that's where the real work comes in. It starts with these 4 questions. And if this video hit close to home, go download the money test. It's free and it's in the description. And it's going to walk you through a much deeper version of everything I just talked about so you can get really clear on whether your niche and your offer are worth building around. And to learn more about how to have a business on YouTube, that's exactly what I cover in this next video here. And I'll see you over there. Have a good one. Bye.